Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The first thing Elias noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind. Not the empty kind. This silence watched. The docking bay of the alien flagship was enormous, wide enough to swallow cities, yet it made no sound at all. No echo, no vibration. Even the distant stars beyond the open bay seemed muted, as if the ship itself was holding its breath. Elias Venn stood alone at the edge of the platform, his tool case resting at his feet, boots planted carefully on the smooth floor. He had worked on hundreds of stations, ships, and ruins across human space. None of them felt like this. The floor was warm beneath his boots, not heated, alive. The metal surface subtly shifted, responding to his weight with slow patience, like something learning his shape. "That's unsettling," Elias muttered. The ship did not respond. A long, elegant vessel loomed before him. Its hull curved in flowing lines instead of angles, glowing softly with patterns that moved like thought made visible. It wasn't built to intimidate. It was built to endure. This was the crown vessel of the Aurelian Conquered, an ancient alien civilization rumored to have ruled the same star systems for over 10,000 years without collapse, revolution, or civil war. They did not innovate. They perfected. And once perfected, they never changed again. Which was exactly why Elias had been summoned. A soft tone echoed across the bay, not an alarm, not a greeting. An invitation. A group of Aurelian attendants approached. Tall, slender, long-eared beings with pale skin that shimmered faintly like pearl under starlight. Their movements were smooth and deliberate, never rushed, never wasted. "You are Elias Venn," one said. The translation lagged just enough to sound thoughtful. "Human systems engineer." "I prefer fixer of stubborn things," Elias replied. The attendant paused. One ear twitched. "Accepted," the alien said after a moment. That made Elias uneasy. They guided him into the ship. The corridors curved gently, walls flowing like sculpted bone. No corners, no seams. The ship didn't feel assembled. It felt grown. Panels shifted open as he approached, sometimes late, sometimes early, like they were guessing instead of detecting. Elias noticed immediately. "They don't trust sensors," he whispered to himself. "They trust patterns." Humans trusted failure. The Aurelians feared it. As they walked deeper, Elias spotted interfaces embedded into the walls. Beautiful, elegant, completely impractical. They used symbolism instead of labels, color instead of numbers, harmony instead of redundancy. Pretty, fragile, deadly if pushed too hard. They entered a vast spherical chamber with a transparent floor. Stars rotated slowly beneath it, the void turning gently like a reminder of how small everything was. 3 Aurelians waited. Examiners. Their ears were angled backward. Authority, Elias guessed. "You will demonstrate your function," one said. "Function?" Elias asked. "You repair." "I also break things," Elias said honestly, "usually by accident." The translators hesitated. Then one examiner made a soft sound. "Amusement." Elias relaxed half an inch. They gestured toward a console. It was human. Or it had been. Now it was embedded into alien architecture, its ports twisted, its casing modified to look graceful instead of useful. Error messages flickered across the screen, contradicting each other confidently. "It does not function," the examiner said. Elias knelt, opened his tool case, and didn't touch anything. Instead, he listened. The console hummed too high, a strange sound, thin and tired. "You choked it," Elias said calmly. "Too much order, not enough honesty." He traced a cable, rerouted through a decorative conduit. Humans don't hide power lines. We expect them to fail. That's how we know where they are. He disconnected 3 unnecessary stabilizers. The console sparked. One examiner flinched. Elias smiled. That's enthusiasm, not danger. He worked slowly, explaining as he went, not to impress, but because silence made machines nervous. Redundancy wasn't weakness. Failure wasn't shame. Labels mattered. Lying to electrons made them angry. When the screen finally stabilized, displaying clean diagnostics, the chamber felt different, quieter, like something had been resolved. The examiners exchanged looks. "You will wait," one said. Elias nodded. Waiting was familiar. He stood alone, staring at the alien ship, noticing how everything was designed to be remembered rather than repaired. Humans built to survive. These people built to endure. A chime sounded. "You are summoned," an attendant said. "To where?" Elias asked. "Private quarters." That was bad. Very bad. Private quarters meant power, secrets, or execution. Elias followed anyway. Curiosity had always been louder than caution. The door opened into chaos. Wires covered the floor like metallic vines. Panels were open. Devices lay disassembled in frustrated piles. Human tech sat beside alien artifacts that clearly did not belong together. In the middle of it all sat a woman. She looked human at first. Then her ears moved. Long, elegant Aurelian. She held a screwdriver upside down. "Oh," she said, looking up. "Good, you came." Elias froze. "I was summoned." "Yes," she frowned at the tool, turned it around, frowned again. "I hoped it would be you." That sentence contained too many dangers. "I dismiss the others," she continued. "They panic when things spark." A device near her cracked and died. Elias winced. That one was already screaming. Her eyes sharpened. "You heard it. Machines complain before they fail." She smiled, small, real. "You may sit," she said, "if you prefer not to stand in judgment." Elias sat. "For the record," he said, "I judge silently. That is why I chose you." She set the tool down carefully. "I am Queen Aurelian Charis." Elias attempted to stand, bow, apologize, and panic all at once. "Please don't," she said quickly. "If you bow, this becomes formal. I hate formal." He sat back down. "Yes, your Charis." "The walls do not gossip here," she added. Elias glanced at the open panels. "They absolutely do." She laughed. Soft, surprised. "Dangerous." "I collect human technology," Charis said. "Not as trophies, as puzzles. Your machines are honest. Mine are obedient." "Obedience is overrated," Elias said. She leaned closer. "Show me," she said, "not how to fix them, why they break." Elias paused. No one had ever asked him that before. "All right," he said, "but Rule 1, no ceremonial tools." She pushed a dagger away sheepishly. They worked. Hours passed. Elias explained current flow using simple words. Charis listened like someone starving for truth. She asked sharp questions, brave ones. "So your machines fail because you expect them to?" She asked. "Yes." "That is dangerous." "Wait until you hear about duct tape." Somewhere deep in the ship, systems adjusted. Charis noticed. The ship was listening. And learning. Elias did not yet understand what that meant. But everything had already begun to change. The ship changed first. Not loudly. Not dramatically. It changed quietly, the way deep things always do. Elias noticed it while explaining thermal stress to Queen Charis for the 3rd time, using a piece of broken casing and a pencil that definitely did not belong to a royal vessel. This crack, Elias said, tapping the metal, happened because the system pretended nothing was wrong. Pressure builds when you lie. Karis listened closely, her long ears angled forward, no longer stiff with ceremony. She nodded slowly. And my people do the same, she said. We endure instead of admit. That works, Elias replied, until it doesn't. The lights above them dimmed slightly, then brightened again. Elias frowned. I didn't touch anything. I know, Karis said quietly. The ship's hum deepened, steadier than before, not louder, more confident. It was listening. It had been listening for a long time. A soft chime echoed through the chamber. This one was sharp, official. Karis stiffened instantly. Her posture shifted, warmth vanishing behind practice control. The council, she said. Elias exhaled. Of course it is. They entered together. The council chamber was built to make individuals feel small. The ceiling rose high above them, etched with symbols of victories long past. The floor was smooth and unforgiving. Every sound echoed just enough to remind speakers that the room remembered everything. Elias stood alone at the center. Karis stood half a step above him. The council assembled in a wide arc, ears rigid, expressions carved from certainty. This session addresses unauthorized alteration of royal systems, one counselor announced. Elias raised his hand. Ignored. The human engineer has exceeded his assigned role. Elias cleared his throat. In my defense, no one defined the role very well. Several ears twitched. Not amusement. You instructed the ship, another counselor said. I talked near it, Elias replied. Big difference. That is impossible, a counselor snapped. Our vessels do not learn. The ship's hum shifted. Just slightly. Karis felt it. She stepped forward. The ship observed, she said calmly. It was allowed to observe. You permitted this, a counselor demanded. Yes, Karis replied. I summoned him. Shock rippled through the chamber. You risk destabilization, one said. I risk growth, Karis answered. Elias swallowed. For what it's worth, he said softly, the ship didn't change because I told it to. It changed because it was allowed to ask why. Silence fell. Heavy, dangerous. Failure is weakness, a counselor said. No, Elias said before thinking. Failure is information. Ignoring it is weakness. Every eye turned to him. He raised both hands slowly. Sorry, engineer reflex. Karis's ears twitched, barely. The human perspective is flawed, the counselor insisted. They replace instead of preserve. Yes, Karis said, voice firm, and because of that they improve. The ship hummed again. Louder this time. Unmistakable. The council froze. The ship responds, one whispered. Yes, Karis said, because it was allowed to. You will lose control, another warned. Karis lifted her chin. I will gain understanding. That word hung in the chamber. Understanding. Dangerous, revolutionary. The ship will undergo supervised integration, Karis declared. Human frameworks will be studied. Failure will be documented, not punished. The council erupted. Elias leaned toward her. They're going to hate this. They already do, she whispered back. The decision stood. The ship agreed. The workshop replaced the throne room. That was intentional. Light poured in through wide crystalline panels. Worktables formed loose circles instead of rigid lines. Human tools lay beside alien instruments without hierarchy or apology. Wires ran openly, labeled in 3 scripts. One of them belonged to the ship. Elias pretended not to notice. Engineers, human and Aurelian, worked side by side. They argued, they laughed. Someone dropped a tool. No one panicked. Karis stood beside Elias, no crown, no symbols of power. Just a simple mantle woven with conductive fibers, human and alien threads intertwined. "You changed everything," she said quietly. Elias shook his head. "No, I explained why things break." "You decided not to punish them," she replied. That stopped him. The ship hummed warmly. A young technician approached, Engineer Elias. "Just Elias. The adaptive feedback loop is behaving creatively." Elias brightened. "Oh no, show me." Karis watched him go, ears relaxed, expression soft. She had changed too. Later they stood by the observation window. Stars stretched endlessly beyond the glass. The ship moved with purpose now, not just endurance. "You could leave," Karis said. "Your contract is complete." Elias thought about the man he had been when he arrived. An engineer expecting a paycheck, prepared to walk away. He shook his head. "I think I'd miss the arguments." She smiled, real, unguarded. "The council wishes to formalize your role," she said. "That sounds dangerous. They wish to call you an instructor." "Worse," Elias muttered. The ship hummed approvingly. They stood in silence, comfortable and honest. Elias rested his hand against the glass. Back home, this would take decades, committees, delays. Here, Karis said, it will be argued openly. "Progress," Elias replied. She turned to him, not as a queen addressing a subject, but as an equal meeting someone on newly leveled ground. "Thank you," she said. "You didn't summon me because you needed fixing," Elias said. "You summoned me because you wanted to understand." "Yes," Karis agreed, "and that is rare." The ship adjusted course. Not because it was commanded, but because it had learned. Elias had arrived to repair a machine. Instead, he helped a civilization remember how to ask why. And for the first time in its long, unbroken history, the empire began to change. And